You know, Ron Paul, the Texas congressman, who is also running for president on the Republican side, has been trying to garner as much publicity as he can. And even though he seems to get the vote on the Internet and the vote after these Republican debates, he's really ignored, primarily by the mainstream media. Well, in an exclusive interview with me moments ago, Ron Paul talked about that. Congressman, it appears that you continue to win the Republican debates based on phone-in polls and Internet polls, yet you seem to be getting ignored by the mainstream media and some other debate venues. Just your reaction to that.
Well, I think that's true, and I don't think they want me there to sort of point out some of the problems the Republican Party has been facing and the nation has been facing, because I think a lot of people don't want to hear about the truth of where the problems come from. So it doesn't surprise me a whole lot. A lot of people predicted that would happen. I'm pleased that we're doing so well outside the ordinary media. We're doing well, you know, on many of your talk shows like this, and the Internet is going very well. So hopefully our persistence and our numbers will grow to the point where they'll have to cover our campaign.
Well, today, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg has decided that he is not going to run as a Republican anymore, and he's kicking around a different party idea. Do you think the Republican Party is in serious shape right now?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it, and I don't know whether they realize it or not, but they don't seem to want to change. I keep telling them they can't possibly win next year if they can, you know, continue to have the same policy as far as foreign policy goes in Iraq and the border situation. I think as long as they persist on that, there's no chance in the world that they can win. But even if you got a guy like Bloomberg that might get outside the Republican Party, if he doesn't change his positions, hopefully he won't be able to win either, because if he does, he has to fool the people, because I think it's the issues that really count. And right now the people I talk to and hear from are sick and tired of what they're getting.
Well, when Fred Thompson can start leading in some of the Republican polls and truly not even have a major effort yet, that tells you that the American public, the American side that votes Republican, seems to be very uneasy with most of the candidates who are out there today.
Yeah, I think that's both a good and bad thing. One is that they are disgusted, they're unhappy, and what they see they're not too pleased with. At the same time, they're willing to grasp at straws and grab anybody that comes along and hope that he'll do well. I mean, Giuliani's been leading the pack, but the more they get to know about him, the more they realize that he's not going to save the country either. So in some ways that's healthy, but I just hope they come our way, in our direction, where they can sort all of the issues out and decide that we ought to have a different foreign policy and different domestic policy.
Well, it's still a long campaign. Are you happy with the invites you're getting to the debates?
I'm real pleased that I've been able to be in the debates, and even though we get less time, we get tremendous support immediately afterwards with new volunteers and new support and money coming in, so that's very good. It's still disappointing that hasn't translated into major media events, but we get a lot of other ones. You know, we've broken into some of these TV talk shows, sort of the comedy network, which, quite frankly, I wasn't really very much aware of, but there's a new constituency there, and they're responding very well, you know, so I'm very pleased with it. And now what I'm most pleased about is the younger generation. You know, I'm just so excited that young people are very attracted to these ideas and realize that just going and getting to bed with big government isn't the answer to their problems. And I think financially they realize that they're bearing a great burden of the kind of programs we've had for these many, many decades, as well as the foreign policy where we're not getting very far in that either.
Well, I tell you what's fascinating about you, Congressman, in your campaign is once people have an opportunity to hear you talk about the issues, to hear you talk in the debates, they like you, and that's important.
Yes, I think that's a big step, and I'm always very pleased that's because I'm a very strong self-critic, and I always look at my flaws. But I keep saying, well, the message is powerful, And it's a message that I haven't by myself devised. You know, it's come a long time. It's this message of, I think, what has made America great, and this message of limited government and the Constitution, and something that we all should rally around. So I'm very delighted that there is a lot of interest, and I give credit to the message.
All right, there you are. That's Texas Congressman Ron Paul, who wants to be the Republican presidential candidate.